Hey everybody, par for the discourse. Today is February 28th, last day of the month, um, 2021. I'm Nicole coming to you from Madrid, and this is Erica from Brooklyn. We're almost going on a year here that we've been doing this. Started off as a way to kind of kill time during the quarantine and just kind of talk about our observations through all of this. And now it's really just become kind of like a nice log of our BS moments.
Well,
I think
this is the new normal, Nicole.
Zooming, I know.
Everything is the new normal.
I hate that term, like the new
I know.
norm. It's like the new buzzword of the.
Yeah, it's annoying.
But anyway, so it's been 2 weeks since we recorded. Last week I wasn't here. Not really too much going on here, except well, really nothing, I guess. Except I wanted to say that I'm in a new phase of parenthood now, and I think it's because Violetta's almost 10, so she's, I think, transitioning into that preteenish kind of behavior. Where the other day I just so happened to say, I haven't signed your agenda book in a long time. Like, she puts grades in there, and parents are supposed to sign it when they do tests. So I don't really look at it that often. I was like, I haven't signed that in a while. Let me like update it. So I go to sign it. There are like 3 blanks there. I go to sign it, and I'm looking at the last signature, and I'm like, I didn't write this. You did. You forged my name. She's like, what? And it's so obvious of a liar too. It's like, and Eduardo looks at it. He's like, it's not bad. Yeah, the beginning part I kind of got thrown off, but then as the name progressed, I was like, I didn't do that. That's not my name. That's not my signature. She's like, can't I just explain why I did it? And it turned into this whole like.
What was her reason? Did she have a
Well,
good
and I'm
quiz?
not even mad because the grade was shitty, but it was because it was an English test and it was really bad. And she's like, I know you don't like when I do bad in English because I shouldn't do bad in English. I'm like, yeah, but it was a spelling test. I'm like, you're not learning English the way everyone else is, so you're gonna spell the things wrong. I'm not mad about that. I am mad about the forging my name. So I use scare tactics. I don't know if this is not the right thing to do, but like, do you know what forgery is? And I'm like, it's a crime in some countries. I'm like, you could go to prison for that. So she's like, for signing someone's name. I'm like, yeah, because you're stealing their identity. It actually worked, I have to say. Like, there was a little fright I could see. I'm not opposed to.
Her moral compass was like,
Yeah.
that sounds like something that's not nice to
It's
do.
bad, yeah.
That doesn't sound
I'm
good.
not, I'm not against.
It seems so harmless.
I'm not against scare tactics, but I'd like to think of myself as somewhere in between, like the new school parent and then our parents. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
It's a hybrid.
yeah, I don't want to be like a militant spanking type parent, or I don't want to be on the other side, like, well, like these
Yeah,
parents outside, like, don't you put a mask on this kid? Well, he's not really comfortable.
would you like to come with me to the store, or would you like to stay here? My parents said, get your shoes on and get in the car.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
see, this is another thing. Like a couple of years ago, see, because my mother's more of that, like, Italian family from the Bronx. Like, there's no fucking around here. Alex had come home one day with like a giant bite mark on his face. And my mother was here visiting at the time. She's like, who did that to you? Till it says the name. She goes, next time someone does that, you push them back. I'm like, Mom, they don't do that anymore. They don't hit back. She goes, well, what do they do? And I'm like, you're supposed to tell the teacher. She's like, we're Italian. We don't rat. We handle. We
I
handle.
was gonna say she wasn't about that. No, because then you look like a tattletale.
No, we handle the situation.
Right. That's not gonna happen again.
I have a friend who's about 15 years older than we are, and her kids are older. And she said, "Let me tell you something. My daughter got bullied when she was like 8, and I walked up to this kid, made sure no one was around, and I said, are you hitting my daughter? Let me just tell you something. If you do it again, I'm gonna bury you. You understand?" Kid never touched her again. She goes, "That's how you do things." No witnesses. That's
Oh,
So I'd like to think of myself somewhere in the middle. I'm not that extreme, but what am I going to do?
yeah. I mean, we got to handle things the best we can.
Do you want to go to the store with me?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there was just no choice. You know what I mean? Like the reason that I used to tell this story to you because I worked with somebody that asked their kid whether or not they wanted to come to work with them.
I remember this.
And then if they didn't want to, well, then they had to like find out who was going to watch the kid, or it was based on whether or not the kid wanted to go to the store or not. And I mean, there's a reason that I grew up in a bar is because my aunt and uncle owned a restaurant and a bar, and me and my cousins were there all the time. No one asked us if we wanted to go.
Right.
We were there all the time because our parents were working.
Because you were not ruling the roost. They were.
We didn't have a choice. Our parents owned a business. We were there all the time. Like that was it. Like,
yeah.
Whatever. I didn't know it would be an option that I could have stayed home and had a babysitter.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where I
am. So well, 10 years old.
It's normal.
Yeah. Was there any punishment or just the threat?
No.
The threat was enough.
But I did say something like, "I need your teacher's email because I do at some point have to like make an appointment to." No, threw herself on the floor. "You're going to ruin my life." I'm like, "I'm not doing anything."
What? What's the problem?
Yeah, that's how that went. So.
Well, let's see. I know we always talk about TV shows and stuff and like what's on Netflix and whatnot. And our favorite comedian, Bill Burr, was talking about this Comedy Central documentary that he was a part of about Patrice O'Neal, the life of Patrice O'Neal. So I don't know how
You saw it.
Yeah. So I don't know how it is when, like, I've been there in Spain with you when you pull something up like from an American show, like, you kind of find it YouTube or whatever. But for this, the way that Comedy Central is right now, especially because I think it still is on being aired, this way we're watching it, you can't fast forward through commercials, right? Like it has like a little thing at the beginning. It says you can't fast forward through this, but I pull it up on the DVR, right?
Uh-huh.
Right. So it's pretty good. I mean, it's the life of Patrice O'Neal. I mean, like he was definitely somebody that I remembered in the 90s, like when I was, it's so funny, like the time that those guys were like in all these New York clubs was like when we were, living there. And I used to go to like a couple comedy clubs with some of my roommates and stuff. And all these like places, the one on the Upper West Side, there's one on the East Side, and then there's the bunch in the West Village. And so they're getting kind of towards the end, and they're talking about, Patrice having diabetes. And it's sad. And they're talking about diabetes and how he, feels and all this stuff. And then it cuts to an Arby's commercial.
Are you? That wasn't by accident. Yeah.
Or like Sonic or White Castle, or, just, these commercials were just like the big thing of meat. And I'm just like, this is this on purpose?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's no coincidence.
It's so dramatic too, just, the guys are talking about how, yeah, I mean, we'd get done with the set and you'd have like 4 cheeseburgers and
Oh God.
cut to the Arby's commercial.
Yeah. I started realizing too, like all these podcasts that we listen to and whatnot. I'm like, I think we're in the minority because the general target audience there is definitely like a male. I mean, just think of all the advertising. The advertising is for like ball shaving and boxer shorts and erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, these men have so many problems.
I'm like, is this show supposed to be made for me? I don't know. Where do I fit into the advertising here?
These poor men and all their problems.
Their ED.
Yeah, and they have these services that'll discreetly send them to your house so you won't be embarrassed having to go to like we've had to be for all these years. I mean, going to the drugstore is always fun.
Speaking of which, this is actually not really funny, but maybe it is after the fact. So last week, I didn't tell you this one. I'm in class, finished the class, and there's one girl like lagging behind, and she comes up and she's like, Nicole, I have a personal problem. Now this is like a 20-year-old girl. So I'm like, okay, do you want to tell me what it is? And she's like, while you were talking, I got my period all over the chair. Can I borrow that spray? Like we have spray in the room, like for the coronavirus that we're supposed to spray the keyboard down and stuff. I'm like, okay. So I give her the spray and some paper towels. And she's like, this is the part that I kind of thought was funny. She's like, I'm just worried about coronavirus. And I was like, can't get it like that. I was like, I don't think your period blood is going to give anybody any kind of illness. I don't know if she meant that.
I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the way it sounded, it was like she thought that like her germs were gonna like contaminate the place, and I'm like, that's not.
You know what's like, yeah, I would have liked her to explain that. I think I would have said
That situation was too awkward. I was like, yeah, clean it up.
Right. Yeah, but wouldn't you like want to be? Can you explain yourself? Why? What did you mean by that?
The poor girl was mortified. I was like, just clean it. I'm like, it's fine. And then I go like this to make her feel good. Although it's true. I said, don't worry. I'm like, it's not the first time it's happened. And I'm sure it won't be the last. And like,
yeah.
Because actually that has happened before. White pants like situation.
Yeah, I'm sure. That's hilarious.
I thought she was gonna tell me something about like a divorced parent and like I can't come to class because I have like I don't know. I thought it was gonna be some relationship problem. I didn't think she was gonna tell me that she had an accident there. Be aware, be on alert for anything.
I wonder why she tied it to coronavirus, because she was sitting there in that seat. It wasn't like
did she really think that her blood is going to release something into the air? I don't know what people think. I mean,
so this is what's gotten ruined. Like I was telling you this story about this crazy racist earlier, and I don't want to get into it again, but you can't even have that like I'll go down this rabbit hole with you and like ask you questions, if somebody thinks opposite of you or whatever. You can't, all the fun has been taken out of like wondering what somebody else. I love to not debate, but I love like somebody that doesn't agree with me and like, oh, why do you think that?
To play devil's advocate a little bit, like
yeah. You can't do that anymore. I don't find it enjoyable because I'm not an antagonizer. I would be interested in hearing somebody's opinion if it didn't go to like just such.
It's too extreme now. That's the problem. It's always going to end with bloodshed or someone name calling or like screams. And
I'll just summarize that yesterday. Somebody in my neighborhood said that all white liberals need to die. They need to be shot because they're acting like N-words.
And you're like, why didn't I record this one? Like,
Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun day. So let's talk about plants because humans suck.
because they don't talk back to you like people.
Yeah, I don't know how plants feel about, they just seem to like being taken care of. It's nice. Same thing with my dog. Domi just wants to be loved.
Well, I kind of like that you were in a negative mood and then you went out and bought the plant. Like that's to
well, yeah. So okay, I wanted to give you some updates, but I also I had told you about begonias a while ago, and I had bought this. This is a tamale begonia, and it was little. I bought it in my neighborhood, but it has grown so much, and so there's a bunch of different kinds of begonias. This one is a cane begonia. This is a type. The way it grows is almost like kind of like bamboo, and the leaves have polka dots on them, and that's like it's so cool. Is like these cool polka dot leaves.
I love when things happen in nature like that, you know?
Yeah, it's so fucking okay. So wait, this is like the bottom of it.
And you've showed me this before. It got.
Yeah. So this little guy right here was little, and then there's two big sticks, and look at how big it's gotten. It's really.
Now, where are you keeping that?
If you got to look at it like different angles, so it sits close to the window. Actually, it's like it's a funny. Okay. Yeah, there's different angles that it looks better, but so you can
you have to keep that stake in all the time, or will you eventually take it off?
I think it's always going to need to be somewhat staked. Can you see the polka dots?
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, right?
I love that.
Yeah, I know. I hate the stick, but like you do need to like. I think that I've seen like a really mature one, and the base almost gets like a tree bark. So I do think maybe it will like really. I mean, it's a baby. The thing is, like, this was there's three. Like this one right here. This is like as big as it was when I bought it, and they've gotten this big, and then this one's gotten huge.
Nice. Right. So things are thriving here.
It's like more impressive in person. I'm like looking at it on the camera.
No, but I could clearly see the dots.
Yeah. It keeps like there's like a new leaf every time I'm looking at it. There's
my grandmother's neighbor was named Begonia. I just thought of that.
Really?
Have you ever heard of anyone named Begonia? It's an ugly name.
No, I love it.
You do like it?
Yeah, kinda. It's weird. So okay, so when I was learning about tamales, I think that's the genus of that one. There are other polka dotted ones, and I learned about the maculata, which is the other polka dotted one. Mm-hmm. And I've seen pictures of them, and I went into this one store, and this lady had one behind the register, and I was like, do you have them for sale? She's like, well, we get them once a year, but this is mine. Like, this is, she's like, that one's not for sale. And I went in there on Thursday, and she had two. Like, it was funny because I could tell like she had gotten them in, and like there was only two left. So it's a little guy, but it's gonna get big. This is
wow, that one's got really bright spots.
Now it's little, right?
Yeah.
But look how big that leaf is.
Yeah. So I kind of like that it's little though. Like it's different size than the other one, but that one really, it almost looks like someone paint splattered it.
I know, it's so cool. So this is the newest leaf because it's not as dark yet. Mm-hmm. And then there's a new leaf right in the middle there.
Yeah.
Right now, this is the coolest part about these ones. Look at the back.
Oh, wow.
I know. The other one doesn't like
a rosy,
just like a different kind of plant. So it is like a little guy. Like these are probably cuttings, but it's gonna get big.
You're gonna put that in another pot soon, probably.
I might let it. I don't know. That was another mistake that I made, was up potting too early.
Oh, okay.
That's something I learned. I think I killed a plant by putting it in too big of a pot too early.
Nice.
Okay. Oh, I was going to show you this one too. I love this guy. So this is, what happened?
Wow.
So this is my Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, which like here.
You
Well,
just
look,
know the name of that, or are you reading the
yeah,
clue
no,
card?
I learned it. I learned it. But look how big, look
That's
how
really
big.
cool. Love the leaves on that one. The shape, it's like all cut into. Very
But
cool.
yeah, another one, like you have to kind of stake it. What I've learned is like the staking thing is how you encourage like bigger leaves is what I guess. Like if you just let it kind of go and trail, I think the leaves will not, I don't know. I think I can't, I'm
I
not,
wonder if I should have done that with the tree that I have, because it's like it's leaning over, and I'm like, I probably should have put something in it to keep it upright. It's too late
yeah,
now.
the whole staking thing, I'm like, I probably, the Monstera here,
Yeah,
which
that's
I
my
won't,
favorite.
I
I'm
won't pick that one.
definitely getting that. I'm getting one of those next.
They're great. And they are really like, it's kind of like everybody's favorite plant because it's just it's an easy plant and it's,
I like the big ones. I just think they're really cool. I think, you know what? I'm gonna get one this week.
yeah, and they're not usually that expensive either.
No,
And
I actually, I know it's corny, but I saw them in IKEA,
yeah,
and I think I'm just gonna go there and get it.
yeah. Yeah, no, I heard they had Monsteras. And okay, so that's, yeah, plants. But I got excited about the begonia because I was looking for it.
Yeah.
And it's just gets really cool looking. And begonias have been good in here in this environment. What I've learned of like caletheas and these like prayer plants, I don't have enough humidity. Like
Okay.
they get brown tips. If you know, they're just very finicky. And I'm not gonna like, they're absolutely, you know what it's like when you go into a store, like a clothing store, and they put the things that are like flashy and like you end up picking it up and like maybe you shouldn't have spent money on it
Mm-hmm.
end of the day because you should have bought something more
Practical.
practical. Yes.
Yeah.
That's caletheas. When you go into a plant shop, they always put them up in the front because they're beautiful. They have like stripely, like
They're the
clear.
sequins. They're the sequins of the plant world.
Exactly. And they and you bring them home and in a couple days you got brown tips on all your leaves.
Yeah.
And it's like just ugly. They don't, and I've seen people like have them in their house with no brown tips and I'm like, you must have that humidifier, like, I mean, it must be like a jungle in there.
It's all a trial and error, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I've told myself I'm not going to spend money I'm going to focus on the ones that are doing well in my environment instead of like trying to, learn about all different kinds. I'm kind of figuring out which ones are just, my style.
At this point, you can open up your own shop, I swear.
Oh, no, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. But
Oh, God.
spring is coming.
Yes. Well, tomorrow's March. We're almost there.
Women's History Month.
Yeah, well, fuck that. They give us a month. Black people are done with now. We're done with February. Now we'll deal with another minority, and then we'll move on and deal.
We'll just say that your month is your month where
Yeah.
have put your specials on TV and
Oh, let's see what happens on March 8th, because there's always a huge like gathering for Women's Day. In
right.
fact, last year they said that's what started this. That's what got the ball rolling, because it was literally 2 days before everything shut down here in Madrid. So let's see if they already said it's still happening, but they're telling people not to go to like the parades and all of the things. But I'm sure there'll be loads of people there.
it seems like people are gathering as long as they think they're being safe. I don't know.
Then we're gonna have Easter week soon, which is like everybody goes away and stuff. We're not going anywhere, and I'm sure that the cases will rise again. Sorry, I'm bringing it back to this point again. I'm bringing it all back to.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know if like people are either they're one side or the other. They're either fatigued and over it, or they're still just doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's
Well, I
like,
didn't tell you, but Madrid was the last in Spain to start the vaccine process. It's been really bad in Europe overall. Like I know a decent amount of people in the U.S. that have gotten it, parents of friends and that kind of thing. But
yeah, yeah, me
um,
too.
no, I don't know a single person here. But I read last week, like, okay, starting in this week in Madrid, which was last week, people over 80 and teachers under 55, because they're with a lot of people, etc. So I thought, oh, okay, does that include me? So I'm like, I'm going to go on Wednesday and to my health center and ask. And yesterday I met up with a friend who is also a university teacher, but in a different university here. She's like, don't bother going. I already went to find out, and we don't qualify. She's like, university professors are not part of teachers. It means elementary school followed by high school. That's it. I'm like, why? If anything, we're with more people. I have 120 students. And the population I teach are the kind of people who don't follow the rules because they're
Right,
between 18 and 23.
right, right.
Whereas, if anything, I think if you're teaching the fourth grade, you've got 25 kids who are 10 years old. They tend to follow the rules a little bit better than someone who's 20. I just don't get any of this. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. If I get it, the vaccine, it'll probably be at the end of August, September, some shit like that. God knows when. I just don't understand what the order is. It just seems like a giant mess. But the more I talk to people, it's like that everywhere. It's just.
It seems here it's like a state to state thing. I
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
not even bothered looking into it because I just don't think we're old enough, or
Yeah.
I when the time comes where I'm not rushing out to get it, and that's not because I don't trust it. I just don't think I'm,
Right.
you know.
No, I wasn't either until I read teacher, and I thought, okay, that could be me.
Yeah,
Let me go see.
yeah. No, you're back to work. I mean, we're holed up in our houses. Um, yeah, it seems like it's a state to state thing,
It is.
and that's not. That's whatever. All right.
Do you hear this, by the way? Maybe you can't hear it, but my neighbor has
Yeah,
got the music on full blast. Full
yeah.
blast.
I hear it a little bit. I mean, it's faint. It's faint.
She has the worst taste too. The worst.
Oh, you'd love my neighbor upstairs does karaoke to the really like bad 80s music. It's so funny
That
though.
could be funny though.
It is hilarious because he's like he's like Ronnie's build. He's like a big burly guy and he sings his face off. It's
Is he
kind
by himself doing this?
I think so.
Oh
It's
my god, that makes it even.
yeah,
He's like,
it's
"Come on, Eileen." No.
yeah, like Air Supply. He gets down on the Air Supply. Really loves.
How do you
It's
not? That's like
he's got like 8 songs in a rotation. And then sometimes he gets like on a Gloria Estefan kick and then it goes there.
Howard.
So,
It's like free entertainment for you.
yeah, he's a nice guy. I like him.
I want to see that or hear that.
Oh, yeah, we've got neighbor updates too. I've got all kinds of things going on. There's just
Hilarious.
oh boy. All right.
All right. Well, we'll talk soon and
Next week.
have a good week.
Oh, Golden Globes tonight. It's gonna be interesting. I've always I think they're interesting. And so I'm interested to see what happens tonight. What are they going to put together? What kind of show is it going to be?
Yeah.
All right.
We'll discuss.
We'll discuss.
Okay. Take care. Bye.